Hello everyone, welcome back to GM Games. It is CoachFury here, and we are continuing our Let's Play series with the Charlotte Hornets to see if we can continue, hopefully, turning LaMelo Ball into an elite player, and who knows, maybe taking him to a title or at least a couple of playoffs during the course of his career. So, last time we ended off, we started off got off to a great start this season. We are now 14-9, and we've been plodding away pretty nicely, really. Looking like we're a comfortable sort of good playoff team. Clearly, we've got a really nice rotation set now. We are just starting December, so we're going to try and this episode to get through basically a bulk of games, get ourselves up to the trade deadline, and then maybe do a bit of a little review to see, what we want to do around that point. But our rotation is pretty much set. We've got Elfrid Payton in at point guard. We obviously moved LaMelo Ball off of the point guard duties this year into shooting guard. It means his numbers have sort of taken a bit of a downward dip in some of his metrics, but I'm pretty happy with that because he is shooting much better than he has previously, and he is also developing into a very nice player still. And then obviously we've got the veteran of our team, Gordon Hayward, in at shooting guard. His numbers have been a little bit less patchy than they were last year, probably because we changed our style slightly from a sort of pace and sort of aggressive offense to a bit more of a grind offense, because we do have some elite talent in the front court. We do have Jermaine Miles, who we drafted at number 1, who is sort of a small forward, but we've been operating him at the power forward position. Onyeka, sort of our defensive juggernaut in that centre. And then in terms of the additional bits at front court, we've got Michael Porter Jr. coming off the bench, with the likes of Bridges in at small forward and Washington in at centre. We were obviously debating a little bit, for the past couple of episodes as to whether we play Washington or whether we play the likes of Gallinari. I mean, I'm still pursuing with Washington. We've got him for another 2 years. He might be a nice trade candidate, to be perfectly honest with you, at this stage. His numbers are still pretty atrocious that's atrocious for a centre, to be honest. He is posting up a lot. Perhaps we'll need to tell him not to catch and shoot as much. So perhaps we'll do that to begin with. See if we can get him at least fixed somewhat, so that he is a tradable commodity for us. So we want him to post up more at the expense of catch and shoot less. Right. Okay, let's crack on then. We'll probably just do a bit of fast simming and a bit of recapping today. We'll get ourselves probably let's go to a month at a time. Let's move ourselves to January to begin with. But perhaps before we do that, we will just check our inbox, see if we've got anything interesting in here. So obviously a lot of this is stuff we've had before. We've got scouting updates about some of the players in the draft. But, Jermaine Miles has also made Rookie of the Month, so that's fantastic. That's a good start. And there's been a salary cap change. So the salary cap has been set. I didn't realise this. So the salary cap has been adjusted to 112 million from 109. So that means we will have more salary available to us going forward, and we are in a perfect position for that, given the fact that we are bang on 112 million more or less, just under the cap status, and we do have a ton of cap going into next season. That is perfect for us. But let's crack on and let's get ourselves to the beginning of January and see how we get on. Can we continue this nice fortune and keep our playoff lives going, keep that good start to the season that we've had moving on? We will not stop on action emails, we will just stop on injuries though. So we start with a loss to New York, a tough loss there. That's one we need to win, really. Beat Miami with Bridges Bridges has been really good off the bench for us, I have to say. Very good performances from him. We beat New York, we beat Atlanta. We keep the winning streak alive. Another win against Detroit there. They've been a nice bit of cannon fodder for us this year. To loss to Milwaukee, a tough loss there actually. Another playoff team. Beat Golden State, that's a huge win. They are going to certainly be a very good team this season. They were projected to be the number 1 seed. But we've got injuries, and a bit frustrating. We do have Miles Bridges out, and our number 1 pick, Jermaine Miles, is also out for a few days. So Bridges is back in 1 day. Miles is out for 10 though, so it means we have to probably rotate, which I think we will do. We will probably put Porter Jr. in there. Gallinari will come in. for Miles, and for Bridges we will probably rotate round, and let's put in if we actually got a game today, that's the question, because if we do we will have to take him out. So we are playing the Cavs. Okay, so we'll have to take Miles out for well, not Miles, Bridges out for 1 day, which means that probably we'll move the other Bridges brother up, and we'll move Carey up. We'll obviously tell Gallinari you are only playing power forward, and AI suggests the matrix for me. So Junior's in, yeah, Gallinari's in at power forward. Bridges is just having to play a bunch of minutes off the bench, and then Carey's going to play some garbage minutes at centre for us. So we'll play this 1 day. We'll obviously then rotate and put the other Bridges brother back in. So we managed to get the win there. Porter with 31 points. Oh, I tell you, he really is making a statement to try and get more minutes in this team. I do feel a bit sorry for him. He's just been pushed out slightly, to be honest. 13 of 26. Yeah, he has the ability to become a very, very good player in this league. It's just a shame we're trying to develop Miles as well. I mean, Miles is probably already a slightly better player than him, in my opinion. Probably not as better as a shooter, but he's still a good player. But he's going to get a little run now. We are, of course, going to run him for those 10 days whilst the likes of Miles is out. We will put the other Bridges brother back in. We will swap this down a bit. So it's like this, and we'll let AI suggest it. The Bridges is back in. Washington's back in. Gallinari, you'll still play. So we'll go forward to 10 days until we get Miles back, and then we'll probably have to reassess and actually kind of decide whether we put Miles back in, or whether if Porter continues putting up 31 points a game, he might get a starting job, to be perfectly honest with you. There may be some bigger questions we'll have to try and answer, but let's see how we get on. So we've hit another injury, it looks like, even though we haven't played any games, a training injury of some sort. So Elfrid Payton is out for 1 day, typically just before I play a game as well. Are we playing? Yeah, we are. Okay, so man, injuries are just a killer in this game at times. So it means we are going to have to do a slight readjustment here. Ball, you're going to have to probably take point guard duties for 1 game, which means that we'll put one of the Bridges brothers in. You'll come out. Washington will go down. We'll just run a bit heavier on our guys, I think, and see how we get on. So we managed to get the win. Ball with 12 assists in the point guard duties there. Let's take a little look at that. Obviously, it's Minnesota, a team that many expected to be in the playoffs this year. Ball's numbers are so much better. Shooting numbers are massively improved this season. 45%. I will certainly take that every single day of the week from him. Porter Jr. get 14 points. Hayward with good performance there as well. So we managed to get the win, even though we had to rotate our guys around. It means Payton can come back in though. Ball can come back in. Bridges, you'll come back in here, and Washington will come back in here. We still have 5 days to bring back Miles, and then we'll see. I mean, it's great to have competition for places, I have to say. That's something we certainly didn't have in the first season here. We'd suffer a loss there to Brooklyn. We obviously had some issues with some depth pieces. We were having to play some interesting guys that probably wouldn't make a rotation if you were looking for the playoffs. But it worked. Porter with 36 points there again. I'm telling you, this is going to be a tough decision now. Are we playing tonight? We are not playing tonight, so we can probably run 1 more day. But we have a big decision here now, because I think Porter's actually been playing pretty well for us. Let's take a look. Right, so I believe he was injured around about the Golden State game, wasn't he? So we played the Cavs. We beat them. Porter put up 31 points in that one. That was his coming out game as such. And then let's have a look at the other games. Did he maintain that performance? That's the question. If he did, then we might have to just put him in. So he played the Timberwolves, as we said. Porter had an okay night. 14 points, 8 rebounds, block. That's not bad. And we played the Nets. We obviously lost the Nets quite considerably. Porter again putting up 23 points. I'm going to be honest, we might have to leave Porter in. Miles might have to be benched. We beat the Trailblazers with 36 points. Okay. Oh well, okay. That's what happens though. I mean, our number one pick, we started him. We gave him a shot. He's putting up good numbers. He did put up good numbers for us. We will probably think about maybe adjusting his shooting preferences now actually as well. So he's clearly a terrible shooter from outside three. He's not a bad jump shooter to be fair, and he's okay in terms of posts. So we probably want less dribble shots, less pull up jumpers, and let's get him. He's drawing fouls. That's not bad actually, is it? I don't think. Let's have a look at other big men. His drawing fouls is not okay. It's pretty average actually for a big guy. Yeah, I love that drawing fouls ability of Onyeka. That is so important if you have a front court player who can draw fouls. So we are going to do a bit of an adjustment here on Miles now. We can tweak him. So for 1 month, I'm going to say shoot off the dribble. Oh no, not shoot off the dribble more. I'm going to probably say post up more, shoot off the dribble less, and let's see how that goes with him. We are obviously going to be benching him, unfortunately. That's what happens when you get injured though. It's a competitive league. I'm really happy with this rotation though. So Bridges is out for 13 days. Miles will come in like so. It means Miles is only going to be playing 8 minutes. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to swap these guys around and do something like that. So he gets a bit more minutes. So yeah, 10 minutes is fine. We'll play him across the board. Gallinari will play. Bridges will have to play a lot more minutes. Do you have McDaniels? I didn't really realise we had McDaniels. McDaniels sort of carry, something like that. And yeah, I think we'll run with that. Porter's won his place for now. We've got 13 days left, but we are nearly at the end of December for our little bit of a recap. Let's get ourselves going to that date and see what happens in the new year. So we beat San Antonio. We beat Brooklyn. That's a good win against Brooklyn. I'm glad we got a result against them. Beat Cleveland again. Gallinari has suffered an injury though. So he is out for 9 days. Do we have a game? That's the question. Do we need to make an immediate adjustment? Don't think we do. So we will continue get ourselves over to January, and obviously if there is a game we will have to make a change. We lose to Houston. Porter putting out 18 points though. Tough loss to Houston there. So here we are. We are now 25-13. That's a pretty good record, I have to say, from where we were last year. That's definitely progress, which means we are the number 3 seed at the moment. In terms of our division, we are number 1 in our division. Oh my goodness me, we have gone above the Atlanta Hawks. That is great. Really shows that this is working very well. And we are into January. So how have our guys been doing? So Elfrid Payton's been putting up some pretty solid numbers. I'm okay with that. His shooting numbers are not great, but he's not really there to shoot. He's there to distribute the ball. LaMelo, yeah, okay, you're obviously not getting many shots, but your shooting percentage is definitely improved. Because there's not as many pull-up jumpers. You're driving and shooting, driving and passing more. You're not catching and shooting as much. That's good. That's much better where we want him to be. I'm pretty happy with his numbers actually. That works pretty well for me. I'll happy if he carries on shooting 45%. Obviously shooting from 3, 41% from 3. That's definitely improvement. Small improvement and small gains for him. He's definitely developing. Look at that. That potential's now 4-star and he's now 3.5-star already. Defensive ability's good. Handling ability's good. Got a good outside shot and he's good at stealing the ball. So LaMelo is definitely coming into his own. I wouldn't say at this stage that he's a star on the team. I'd certainly say he is a very, very good starting player. But, you know, we're not obviously necessarily playing to his strengths at this moment in time because we are playing a grind offense because we do have that insane front court. Gordon Hayward, your stats are looking pretty good still. Shooting numbers have actually come back a bit, so that's good. That's nice to see. Porter Jr., you're looking good. Your shooting numbers are just insanely good. You're just taking everything in the basket. So I am certainly going to continue to move with you. We do have a big decision to face with him though, because he is expiring this year. He is coming off of that rookie contract. So we do have a question there as to whether we try and re-sign him now, whether we let him go to free agency, or not sure what we'll do there. Onyeka, yeah, 14-7. Yeah, you've had a massive boost this year, mainly because you're actually playing a lot more minutes than you have done previously for the various teams that you've been on. And your numbers are pretty good. You're definitely developing from a 3-star to now 3.5-star potential. Our rookie number 1 pick, Miles, has obviously got the attacker aspect now because he is driving and shooting a lot more. His numbers are down actually in terms of 40%. We just need to stop that. That's crazy outside shooting. So he is not pulling up as much. His catch and shoot is still there though. So we'll have to. I'm thinking we'll probably keep him on the drive and shoot from now. I mean, he's not the best shooter. He still needs to probably develop that. But yeah, probably the right decision to bench him at this stage. We'll maybe give him a bit of a run if we drop out the playoffs or something. We'll obviously put him in somewhere. But I mean, him versus Hayward's going to win that battle at the moment. Him versus Porter's winning that battle. We've got Bridges. He's performing pretty well. The other Bridges brother has been insane off the bench. 16.3 points off the bench. I mean, he's a really good bench player. I mean, he can do a bit of everything, and he can shoot, which is just really, really handy to have. Gallinari, obviously the $20 million guy, his numbers have dropped, but again, he's not playing as much as he was when he first joined us. Washington, how are your numbers actually looking? That's much better. 48% is much better. So we need to continue getting you to post up more, to be perfectly honest with you, and less catch and shoots. So let's get that sorted if we can. We want you post up more, catch and shoot less, pretty much. And I think, do we make another adjustment on Miles? I mean, that's ugly. He needs to develop a 3-point game if he's going to survive being a small forward in this league. I mean, in terms of where he is, he's driving pass, drive and shoot. I mean, maybe we want to bring down that drive and shoot a little bit. But that's probably not helping him. I mean, he's not that efficient around when he's driving. I think probably we'll adjust that again. Okay, so he's already posting up more, shoot off dribble less. So that finishes the end of, towards the end of this month coming. So we'll sort that one out later. But we're in really good shape in terms of the insights. Let's have a little look. We are a very, very good defensive team. Look at that, 3rd in net ranking. We're not the best efficient offensively. We don't allow many points. That's good though. We're building a really good defensive unit, which is Onyeka in the post is certainly helping. We've got good versatile defenders. So that is certainly where we are building this team forward at the moment. So let's get ourselves moving forward to the 1st of February, I think. And then we'll probably do a bit of a recap, see what the trade situation looks like, and go from there. But obviously we're continuing with Porter in at sort of power forward. Keep that going. Look, 22 points there. 13 assists from Ball as well in that game. Performances have been pretty good. I mean, if our defense is number 3, and if we can get our offense up to maybe a top 10 offense in efficiency, then we will be looking like a very good team. So we do have an email. Okay, these are just emails that previously, that's not new. Must have had an injury then. So Alfred Payton is out for 2 days. I'm guessing that we have a game. That's why we are stopped. Yep, we have a game. So LaMelo, you're back in at point guard duties. It means that we'll probably put the other bridges. Oh, I've completely forgot you were not in the lineup. Okay, we've been playing without you for a little while. The actual good bridges is, you know, putting up good numbers for us is back in, and we'll run with that, I think, for this one game, and then we'll readjust. We managed to get a nice win there. Porter with 22 points. He's been so good. He's looking very good. Oh man, the other bridge is out for 13 days. Ugh. 2 injuries now. So Peyton, you'll be back. We don't. Oh, we do have a game, so we'll probably just have to make a slight mini adjustment here, and then we'll bring him back. So we'll just move these guys down. I think that's probably the best way to do it for now. Yeah, we'll proceed with that for now. This one game, we suffer the loss. Injuries certainly are a bit of a snag at this moment in time. But Peyton is back, so you can come back in. It means our bench gets a massive boost because the other Bridges brother will certainly be back in here as our 6th man. Gallinari will be back down the rotation a little bit. Washington down. And, oh, hang on, we need to put Gallinari back there and Washington there. And it means that, yeah, okay, so we've got back to a bit more of a consistent rotation. Miles is playing a little bit more in terms of minutes. His shooting numbers are still not great. We just probably need to bring that drive and shoot down, to be perfectly honest with you, next time. That's probably a little bit too high for his ability in terms of his actual drawing fouls and so on. So we'll go. Actually, hang on, let's double check how long. Bridge is out for 12 days. We'll probably go the 12 days until the 21st. We'll go to the 22nd because I know that's when we can adjust Miles's ability, and we'll readjust then. So we suffer a loss to Denver. Porter put up 36 points in that loss though. Been a bit patchy now, I think, this month. It looks like so far. Nice win against Washington there. Porter with 29 points. He's looking like he could be a star, to be perfectly honest with you now. Numbers he's putting up. It's looking very good. Okay, so we've got an injury, it looks like. Oh no, Porter is out for 3 days. Well, it gives this man an opportunity to come back in, stake his claim, I guess, for the starting role. So Miles, you're back in at power forward. You've been out for a little while. This is your one chance. Can you prove that you are worthy of a starting role? Let's take a little look at his numbers and see. So we get the win against Chicago. Miles comes in, puts up 17 points, 8 rebounds. Oh, I love it. I love the competition between these two guys. It's really good. This is amazing. I mean, long term, I guess we could consider maybe leaving Porter in at power forward and moving Miles into small forward once Hayward starts to decline. But Hayward's still putting up some really good numbers. But, you know, he staked his claim again. So Porter's out for another 2 days, so we probably might have another game between them now. So we'll see how he does with game 2 if we do have one. Haven't had another game. I'm just going to run it to one more game. I just want to see if he can continue that magic. Where are we? So we are against the Raptors. We win against the Raptors. Peyton putting up some good numbers there, we can see. How did he get on? 6 of 12. You see, he's putting up good numbers in that position. Not as good as Porter, I have to say, though. But it's still very good numbers. Oh, man, it's a tough decision, isn't it? I think we'll first things first. Let's see how he's looking in terms of his instructions now. So a little tick up. I think we'll still continue getting him to post up more. I probably want him driving and shooting a little bit less. We'll post up more and drive and shoot less. That is quite a big chunk of his game at this moment in time. So Miles, you're going to, for 1 month, you are going to post up more, drive and shoot less. Okay, so I think we will end there. We get ourselves to sort of just outside, near a couple of weeks away from the trade deadline. We've got an email in the inbox. I'm guessing that's scouting update. Yeah, we're not too worried about that. But we are putting up some good numbers. We're looking like a pretty decent team at this moment in time. We are the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference at the moment, so that's good. That's a good start for us. That's looking good. We're 32-15. We're looking like we could be a decent playoff team at this rate. LaMelo's numbers have not really changed too much. I mean, his rebounds are slightly up and his assists are slightly up now. His shooting numbers are definitely taking a good upward tick at 44%. That's definitely much better. 41% there. I don't think we necessarily need to tweak this too much, actually. I'm pretty happy with that at this moment in time. If anything, we can probably tell him to drive and pass a little bit less, but I like his assist numbers, to be honest with you. From a shooting guard position, his assists are looking pretty good. I mean, turnovers need to come down a bit, but they will eventually. He is, developing nicely, and yeah, this team's looking good. I'm happy with this. I mean, Miles Bridges is looking like a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Obviously we've talked a lot about Porter Jr. in this one and how good his numbers are looking at the moment in time. But we'll see what happens next time. We'll come back. We'll probably continue progressing. We'll get ourselves to the trade deadline and we'll take a look and see what options there are there. But we are looking in great shape. 32-15. I would certainly take that at this point in time. And we'll carry on next time and see if we can continue this playoff push.